Hey guys, welcome back to the Money Zone. I'm your host, Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. So I know you're probably like, who are you, what you do, and everything else. So I'm an accountant, okay, an IRS enrolled agent as well, and I help individuals and small businesses save money on their taxes and build generational wealth. And the way that I do that is by helping you guys build profitable, scalable, and sustainable businesses through bookkeeping and things like that, and then also teaching you tax strategies so you can pay as little taxes as possible. Okay. So, on today's first segment, guys, we're talking about the importance of you as a small business owner either hiring interns or hiring employees. Okay. So, first things first, guys, as an African American business, Black business, what they say, person of color, or whatever the case may be, right? I find it that our businesses struggle the most, not only from my personal experience, but statistically, we struggle the most when it comes into hiring. We tend to have mom and pop businesses for generations and generations where we never tend to scale our businesses. And the main reason why we tend to not scale our businesses is because we don't know how to hire, and we don't know how to build processes and systems and just basically build a real business. Okay, so number one, guys, if you ever want to have a, how would I say, a one day, a peaceful life, one day have your business be able to transfer ownership from generations to generations, then you guys need to pay attention to what I'm about to talk about right now. Okay. So, first things first, guys, hiring people is not as challenging or as stressful as you guys may perceive it. Okay. You can hire people as seasonal employees. You can hire them as part-time, temporary, on contract basis. You can go and hire interns, or you can hire full-blown, full-time employees. So think about it. Many of you probably didn't even think about those many options right off the bat. You were probably like, oh, I just need to hire an employee, or oh, I just need a contractor. You guys have heard of employees and contractors, but you never consider you possibly being able to hire a part-time employee or a seasonal employee. So let's use my industry, for example, right? I'm an accountant. Tax season is busy for me. If you're a seasonal business, then you may not have to have someone with you year round. You just need to hire someone during peak time. So you would then hire and it's a seasonal employee. So you will put an ad out on Indeed, okay? And hire and look for, the ad may say seasoned contractor or looking for a seasoned employee. Okay. So first things first, you don't have to hire nobody full time. You're not required. There's no law that says you have to hire them full time. So don't be afraid. Actually, I think it's very conducive of you to really start to get your feet wet and start hiring people. And the easiest way to start that is first by hiring interns. Okay. And guys, I'm going to share my screen really quick because according to this Forbes article, right? And I agree because when I first started hiring individuals, I went right to my alumni. I went to, and guys, I'm not a big old college, like Ivy League college grad. I'm a little poor Black kid that had to go to any college that I could afford. So I went to my community college that I attended and looked for interns. I also went to my college that I graduated from, which was UDC, and I looked for interns. So guys, the first thing that you want to do, according to this Forbes, okay, you want to first realize that there are benefits in hiring interns, okay? And you do have to also, many of us as business owners, we have to think differently than everybody else. So don't just have this mindset, oh, I need employees, oh, I need this, or I'm not a boss if I don't have employees and all of that stuff. Like, let's really be honest. You're a boss if you're handling your own. You're a boss if you don't actually have a boss, okay? So even if you don't have employees or interns, you're still a boss, boo. But now we need to get you some employees. So your first set of employees might be your interns. And if I were you, the first thing that I would do is just go to wherever you graduated, go to your alumni school, go to your community, your neighboring community colleges. Also, you can go to your neighboring high schools because some of these high schools, remember, they give them advanced placement credits. and things like that. And so guess what? You probably did not know this, but your small business, okay, your small business could actually end up working with your neighboring community college or high school, and those students receive college credits just by working with you. And a lot of times, if it's an intern, guys, depending on the role that they play in your organization, you may not have to pay them. It's a fair exchange. They get the college credit, you get the work. So if I were you and you have a legitimate business, you are in compliance, meaning you're up to date with your taxes, you're up to date with your state filings and things like that, because more than likely, any school that will partner with you for interns, right, is going to do some background information on your company. So you want to make sure you're in compliance and everything is in tip-top shape. So once you do that, then guess what? Get your business in compliance and go introduce yourself. Go to the workforce development department, or go to whoever handles job placements at those colleges. And I guarantee you guys, you will end up getting your first employee free of charge. Fair exchange is no robbery. You provide work experience, and they end up getting, and you end up providing work experience, and you end up getting a position filled. But here's the thing, guys. There's a fine line between what an intern versus what an employee can do. So before you just go and build out this large job description for a daggone intern, make sure you read up the laws that are applicable for your state. And you want to go to your Department of Labor and Licensing regulations, and then they'll specify exactly what an intern can do versus an employee. Okay, so number one, go to the neighboring college. The second thing, guys, and I did mention this briefly, if you're a seasonal employee, you can hire seasonal like me for tax season. If you know, and don't get so consumed with the typical seasonal type of businesses. So some of you are probably thinking, oh, well, if you have a landscaping company, then automatically during the summertime, that's your peak season, and the wintertime is your off season, right? Your business, even if it's not the typical landscaping, typical like my industry where we have a definitive downtime, you can actually create your own seasons. And the seasons are based on when you have peak sales is your peak season. But you only would know that, guys, if you do your accounting. So prime example of when you're accounting is important to really know your numbers, okay? So go and get your first intern, guys, by just going right to the school. But make sure your business is in compliance, okay? So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, and because I'm seeing that a lot of you don't know the difference between an independent contractor and an employee, okay? And so why am I telling you guys this? Remember, I mentioned to you guys that the IRS is beefing up their auditing and things like that, right? What they're also doing is really looking into the misclassification of employees. So everybody is not a contractor, okay? Everybody is not a contractor. If you have the capabilities of having that person perform key tasks that are revenue generating, key to the success of your organization, more than likely they are not a contractor. If they're using all of your systems, all of your processes, and have to abide by your rules and the way that you do things, and you're in control, they're not a contractor. If they're in control, they have the process, they have the systems, they have their own business, then more than likely they can classify as a contractor. But if they don't have any of those things, then you actually need to sit back and really ask yourself, do you want to risk classifying them as a contractor when they are literally a employee? Set up going. So I'm about to share my screen. And guys, don't forget, if you're watching on me on any social media platforms and you guys want to see my screen, you want to head over to our YouTube channel, which is Folasade TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, things like that. Because this is what, my second week? Yeah, this is my second week on YouTube, guys. Well, I've been on YouTube for a while, but I'm talking about like consistently with the radio show as well. Wow, I wish I have another article. Okay, so guys, on my screen, I'm just going to briefly read. Well, I'm not even going to tell you guys what a W-2 is. Okay, so 1099 worker versus W-2 employee. First of all, the IRS established it by doing 3 different tests: the behavioral test, financial test, and then a type of responsibility test. So if you have a contractor, the first thing the IRS is going to ask, does the company control how the worker does the job? If that's the case, then they're not an independent contractor. Okay. Um, if it's financial, does the company control business aspects of the worker's job, such as how they're paid and whether they can seek other work in the market? You know how most companies say you have a non-compete. You can't work for another company until you're no longer with me after a few years. You cannot have another full-time employment. If they have any type of restrictions, then they're not an employee. Then they're not a contractor. They're an employee. Because when I think about it, put my firm in context when you guys are thinking about it, or your business. You can have multiple vendors. You have multiple clients. And guess what? No one can stop you. Not one of my clients can tell me I cannot get any more clients. And so that shows that I'm an independent contractor. Okay. So automatically, guys, before you just go out and hire somebody and automatically classify them as a contractor, you want to make sure that you take them through the 3 tests, which is behavioral, financial, and the relationship, to see whether or not they are legitimately a independent contractor. And here's why I'm having you guys do this. If you misclassify an employee as a contractor, then you have to think about this. The IRS is losing Social Security, Medicare taxes, plus your portion, okay? And also the states are missing out on the unemployment, and also IRS is missing out on the federal unemployment. So just one employee alone that you misclassify as an independent contractor, the IRS can lose upwards to about maybe $15,000 to $20,000 per employee that's misclassified. And the higher that employee's income, the more taxes the government lose. And I know you're probably like, well, Folasade, why does that matter? You're worried about the IRS. No, I'm not. I'm just telling you that that's the reason why they're going to come after you if you misclassify your employees as a contractors, because they're losing out on so much revenue, which is taxes, on their part. So remember, anything that comes down to taxes, remember, it's a revenue generated activity for the government. And so eventually they're going to tighten up things and end up going after people that are deliberately trying to and intentionally trying to not pay taxes. And classifying your employee as a contractor, it benefits you guys. And it actually hurts the IRS. And then last but not least, guys, when you also misclassify an employee as a contractor, then you're taking away that employee's opportunity to file for unemployment. Okay. So that's again an issue. And so here's the thing. If you misclassify that person as a contractor and they go and file for unemployment, then your ass may be grass. Because now what's going to happen is the state is going to be looking for your unemployment reports that you never filed. And so then the state is going to ask you to show wages. Then that employee is going to tell you that, oh, well, the employee is going to tell the state, I was never a contractor anyway. I don't know why they actually are classifying me as an employee. And guess what? They're supposed to be taking taxes out, but they're not taking taxes out. And guess what? That leads to you guys ended up having a unemployment audit that can lead to back taxes being owed and civil cases against the state. Okay. So there's reasons why I would rather for you guys to at least start off first, try to get your interns, okay? Or attempt to get seasonal employees as well, because if you get seasonal employees, they're not obligated to get unemployment after the season is done, because they were well aware that their job was seasonal, okay? So I hope that the first segment of today's show actually helped some of my small business owners push it and attempt to go out and hire an employee. Honestly, guys, this is the best time to do it now. Actually, there's no better time. If you're a business owner, you really cannot say you're doing business if you have never attempted to hire someone or attempted to really scale your company. So if you really want to do business, guys, go out, attempt to hire somebody. But if you don't want to hire full time, if you don't have the income or whatever situation may be, start off first with the intern. Your second tier may be seasonal or part time. Okay. But before you do that, make sure you know the regulations and things that are applicable for your state. Okay. So, guys, what I'm about to do, I'm going to take a quick, this one is not my quick break. This is my 5-minute break, guys. So, I'm going to take my 5 minutes break. Instagram, I'm going to come off and then I'm going to come back after my break. And then we're about to go into these ratchet ass hot topics because y'all are losing it right now. Look, y'all be having me when I'm scrolling on the gram like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Oh my God, I got to talk about this. Oh my God, I'm just so surprised and amazed at the mess that is happening right now in society. And it actually, all of the chaos really start having me think on whether or not I'm a conservative or am I traditional or what. And then I had to think about it. I just got common fucking sense and also a good hit on my shoulder and think, right? So because I have those three things, I shouldn't be classified as a right wing or left wing or conservative or traditional or anything like that. I just have common sense that wants the best for my family, for my clients, and for you guys. So what we're about to do, guys, we're going to take a quick little break and we'll be right back.